You are now witnessing episode 4 of the Enders Corner podcast. I'm back at it again. Episode 4. It's your boy Ty Finney, aka The Legend. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Before I get into today's session, I just want to give a couple shout outs like I normally do. Before I get into the shout outs, I want to send my condolences and my prayers out to the family of Marenzo Smith, uh, also known as T. Diddy. I didn't know much about him, but he was a boxer who was shot and killed in Texas. And, that's like I said on my last podcast, we had a boxer, a Nigerian boxer that died in a sparring session. And so that's two boxers that we that's died back to back. So again, I send my condolences out to their friends and their family. And as far as T Diddy, I'm friends with some people on Facebook that was very close to him. It looks like he was well liked and well respected in the boxing community. So again, I send my prayers and my condolences out to their friends and their family. And I want to give some shout outs. Of course, big shout out to G5 Jeff TV, the Goodfellas podcast. He's doing a podcast right now as we speak. I definitely would have jumped on that. I was doing my own podcast today, and I found out he was doing a podcast a little later on today. So I didn't get a chance to get on that. So yeah, big shout out to G5 Jeff TV for coming on my last podcast and leaving a couple comments. Big shout out to you. Again, big shout out to Chris G. Big shout out to Joseph. Big shout out to Katrina. Big shout out to La Precious. And I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel. I had 37 followers, and I was just looking at it a while ago, and I'm up to 40 followers. So big ups to everybody that subscribed. Big ups to Billy for subscribing. All right, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to do this podcast. I'm gonna try to do it for maybe 30 minutes or less. I got the link here in the comment section if anybody wants to join. And also big shout out before I get into the session. Big shout out to OTB Boxing. I got on his podcast last weekend. I thank him for bringing me on this channel. So definitely subscribe to him. OTB Boxing Class 101. Big thanks to him, and also big thanks to Marcus Knoll for we chatted it up on the podcast. So y'all may know him as Ohio Runs Boxing. He may be coming on this session with me in a little bit. I'm not sure. Big ups to him. Give me a second. So I just sent out the link to a couple different people if anybody wants to jump on. Again, the link is in the comment section. So I'm definitely, I only got a couple different subjects that I want to talk about today. The three main subjects that I want to get into was, of course, last weekend's fights. Give me a second. Got Ohio Runs Boxing in the building. What's up, bro?
What's good, Ty?
It's good, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yep. Sorry about that, man. Something good. I had the family conversation, man. I had to take care of that, man. It was real good.
No problem, man. I understand. We all busy. I was off today, so I was definitely trying to, get a podcast going on. So yeah, man, I just gave you a shout out, and I gave a shout out to OTB. Thank y'all for bringing me on the channel, and I chopped it up with y'all last weekend.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man.
Yeah, it was a good show for sure. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get into last weekend's fights.
Okay.
And yeah, starting off with Danny Garcia versus Benavidez. Um, before I get into that, all my predictions for the all three fights last weekend was right. I predicted Garcia would beat Benavidez. I predicted Cal Naki would lose, and I predicted Gary Antuanne Russell would win again. So I know. I'll go ahead and start off with Gary Antuanne Russell and Rances Barthelemy. Um, I knew that Russell would win. He's got a lot of power, but I don't think he's very technical. You know what I mean? I don't think he's very technical, but yeah, he's definitely got he's got a style like Sean Porter. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, so
Yeah, I can agree.
yeah, he's got a style like Sean Porter, and but the thing about Gary Antuanne Russell is, he's got the Russell brothers behind him, so he's definitely got a solid team. All his brothers are professional fighters. I believe one is just a trainer. So, what you think? What you think about the stoppage? That's what everybody's mad with this referee. I don't know his name, but I've seen him referee quite a bit of fights. But everybody's mad with this stoppage. I'm not a big fan of Rances, but no disrespect to him as a fighter, but I know he's a two-time former champion. But what you think about the stoppage?
Uh, I don't like it. I didn't like it. I'm starting to see a pattern, man. I don't judge you off one mistake or one thing you do. I judge you when it happened multiple times, and I'm not blaming Gary for the stoppage. It's just or the referee. The referee. It's more like
Right.
it's controversial. That's what I want to say. He didn't had two controversy stoppages in a row against guys who's never been stopped, and I'm saying to myself, are PBC behind this where they're trying to promote his KO ratio because it's still 100%? People ain't paying
Right.
attention to this. You know what I mean? So maybe they're trying to paint this picture as him being this devastating puncher. But for him to have two back-to-back controversy knockouts, stoppages against guys who've never been stopped, it's just red flags to me. Now, could it be just a coincidence? Yeah, it could be. But when I started seeing a pattern like that, I started to have ask questions, and I think that's deserving, rightfully so. Referee, what's his name? Russell Mora. I think you know who I'm talking about. The referee.
Yeah, I have to see his face, man. It's a lot of referees. If I see his face, I definitely know who you're talking about.
Well, I'm gonna tell you his reputation. He's the one that actually never called the low blows on the Abeco versus Abner Mares fight. He had hit him almost 13 times low, and when he did it like the 12th time, Russell Mora called it a knockdown, and it was so bluntly that was the worst officiating I've ever seen in my life. Jim Gray even got on him at the end, and they ended up rematching, which Abner Mares won. But he had a pattern I started to see. He was involved with the Wilder count in the third one. He was involved in the headbutt collision in the fourth round, I believe, with what's his name? Mooney. It's from Australia, but it was on Top Rank. And that was controversial. He called this a cut, a headbutt that wasn't a headbutt. They ended up going to the cards, which helped Garcia's team keep the belt. It was just crazy. But the point I'm getting at was when you have a pattern, when you see patterns like this with certain people, you got to start asking questions. What the heck is going on? I mean, so when it comes to Gary, I think he, like you said, he's going to be okay. He's still got some things he needs to work on. But that stoppage, I'm sorry. I didn't see his legs where he couldn't, continue. I just didn't see that. And he's been down. Ranch has been down before, I think, against Mickey Bay. Okay. So he's been down before. It's all about body language. It's all about body language to me. So that was huge. So I'm not mad at people that's criticizing the ref because these guys work too hard for you to take fights away from them.
Right.
Because that's exactly what that was.
Yeah. So I can't remember. I can't really remember the poster fight. So the poster stoppage that was controversial too.
Yeah. A lot of people felt that shouldn't have been stopped. Postal wasn't stunned or like really out of it at all.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
He's never been stopped either.
Right. Yeah. So Gary and Antuanne Russell, he's definitely stepped up in competition, but he's just his last two fights, like he's saying, is just controversial stoppages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I agree though, man. Like Rances definitely got up. He wasn't he didn't show no signs of being hurt or anything like that. So I don't know what these refs think. I mean, I know it's better, it's better stopping early than too late. But like he's saying, he wasn't hurt or anything like that. So it's definitely controversial. And at the end of the day, it makes Russell look like him look like a better fighter. So, well, I would definitely like to see a rematch. But I mean, I don't know if that would happen at this point. What you think?
Nah, I don't think they're gonna go to rematch. Like, they can try to pitch it, you know what I'm saying, but I don't think it's gonna go to rematch with Rances and him. So they're gonna move on to the next. He getting closer and they trying to get him closer and closer for a title shot. You know what I mean? So we definitely see, but I don't think it'll be a rematch. Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So
would you want to see that? Would you want to see it?
Nah, I don't want to see it, man. I don't want to see it, man. Yeah. Yeah, but I think Russell would definitely have won by, if it kept going, I think he would have definitely either maybe knocked them out again, or he definitely just won by decision. But it was definitely a good fight, and until the stoppage. Rances was definitely fighting back. But yeah, it's just a controversial ending, man. Especially for the opening of the card. You know what I mean? Being the first fighter in the card, that was just a bad way to start it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what you think of Kalinaki versus Ali? Me personally, going just Kalinaki going into that fight with two back-to-back stoppages. It's hard to recover from that. Especially if your first two losses were both by stoppages to the same fighter. So I just knew that going into that fight that he was gonna have some trouble. They both beat Jared Washington, and they both got some power. But where do you think Kalinaki goes from here? 3 back-to-back losses. He's saying he wants to fight again. To have a win, but three losses back-to-back, man. That's pretty tough to deal with.
Yeah, it is. I think that he should, if he come back, he should be against Wilder, and that would be in his career, But no, being honest, no, he should. I don't see. I see him just being a. I see him being a Chisora. I can't even say his name. Chisora of the United States. Where he gives you decent fights, entertaining fights, but he's never gonna come up on top, man. I think that's what it is now. The blueprint is out for him, man. He doesn't move his head. It's like he's really all offense. And if once his motor go down, you can take over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the heavyweight division isn't as stacked, so we still will need to see people matched up against him. As long as he still want to fight and now still want to use him, I think that'd be cool. But if it start getting to the point where he's getting dominating, taking too many beatings, that's when I think it's gonna be like enough is enough. We had that with Ruslan Provocative. For Top Rank, he was an entertaining fighter. We loved him, but we knew his career was not gonna last that long.
Right. Hold on for a second, bro. G5 Jeff TV in the building. What's good?
What's up with y'all? What's up with
you?
What's good, man?
Ain't nothing, man. What's up with y'all? What we talking about?
We were just talking about Kalinaki and Ali, but before that, we were talking about Gary Russell versus Rances. Just giving our thoughts on that.
First of all, before we even get started, man, big shout out to Ohio Runs Boxing, man. One of the hottest media dudes out here, man. Been doing it for a long time, man. For sure. So salute to you. We all in that same team, Ohio Runs Boxing, Bushido, Pound for Pound and YSM and just that whole clique, man. That whole clique, man. Big shout out to you. And big shout out to Ty Finney, man. Big shout out to the legend, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, bro. Appreciate
Doing big things, man.
Thank you, man.
The Barthelemy fight, bro. I don't know if the referee had dough on round 6. I don't know if he had money on the stoppage. I don't know what he had money on, but he had money on something. Right? For real. Like, yeah. I mean, and listen, that's the second straight time that Gary Russell won a fight, and we're not talking about Gary Russell. Right. We're literally talking about bad stoppages.
I just mentioned
we were just talking about that. Yeah,
he just talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, we
okay.
just said that. Yeah, 2 back-to-back stoppages for Gary Russell. Yep.
And I actually brought up when you see continuing stuff like that, it started to become red flags. And I actually brought up the referee Mora. You know who Mora is, where he had these controversy calls, and it's one after another. It's like it started becomes the pattern, and you be like, "What is going on here?" You know. So that's what it seemed like with his back-to-back, stoppages. It's like, whoa! I hope that he don't get a third one, because it's like, what is going on? And is they protecting this KO ratio? And that's what I said with the legend, man. I was like, I don't know what the motive is, but it's just so crazy to me.
Bro, just to follow up on that, if they are trying to kind of build the streak, we got current history and current boxers that prove that that type of record doesn't mean anything. Like take Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga went on that run, bro. I was getting criticized like hell because I was just like, yo, like he still got a bunch of questions that he needs to answer. You know what I mean? And this is when he was like 14-0. Like he was, when he got that knockout and he was screaming at Andre Ward, was like, I'm an effing monster. Like from that point, I was like, yo, like this dude got a lot of questions that he needs answered. You take Virgil Ortiz, he's 18-0, 18 knockouts. Nobody really talks about him in a sense of like he's like this stone cold killer. He's not even top 5 in terms of like stone cold killers in the division. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that record is just good for the eyes for somebody that really don't know what's really going on. So if that's what they're doing, it's not worth them risking taking Gary Russell's name to try to maintain a perfect knockout streak. Like, nobody looks at Gary Russell as like this stone cold killer, even though his record may say so. Nobody looks at him that way. He's a solid fighter. Right. That's definitely top 10 at 140, and he's going to be in the mix.
Yeah. I agree with you. And the reason why I said that, though, is because when they start to mark him and really push him, then you'll start seeing them talk about the KO. And then they have the network start talking about the KO. And you know how it is. Yeah. Once you start trending something and start talking about it, everybody start talking about it. I remember when Top Rank got Fury, he didn't have no belts, and people was like, how they gonna promote Fury with no belts? He ain't even got no belts. And Bob Arum, being as smart as he is, he said he's the lineal. And at that time, a lot of people wasn't even talking about lineal. And I remember AJ being shocked, like, what's this lineal stuff? He was surprised that Bob been in the game long enough, he knew what the tool to take to promote a fighter. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to Gary. They're going to have certain things they have to look to try to push a fighter. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I question those stoppages. Maybe that's what they're going to probably try to do in the future. And I'm with you. I definitely agree with you. I don't think right now it just really screams. He doesn't seem like a killer either. That don't even demonstrate in the ring, to be honest. But
he don't come on.
Is, man.
The thing that's funny, bro, is there was a fight in Philly. It was about a year ago. So it was Mushin K-Sign. He fought my guy Tree James. Yeah. He fought my guy Tree James out of Iowa. So that was at the 2300, right? So, and this is just what I'm getting ready to say. This is an example of what it could possibly be with the Gary Russell situation. So basically, Mushin is a hometown guy. Was definitely the favorite in the fight. Bro, he knocked the dude Tree James down, right? Bro, no lie. I don't think his second cheek hit the canvas, and the referee was standing over top, like it's over, it's done, it's done. So I said that to say this: like when you the house fighter, when you the hometown guy, people think it's corruption in terms of like, oh, the judges and the scorecards, things like that. It can go another level. It could be like a referee. As soon as he touched that canvas, wave it off, or as soon as he gets up, wave it off. Don't even give them a second opportunity. So corruption can come on various levels, and I hope I like Ohio runs boxing. I'm with you 100%. If it happens a third time, man, I got nothing. I got nothing, man, for sure.
Yeah. So what was the ref like? We could take Harvey Dock. You know Harvey Dock always stops fights. If Harvey Dock sees you hurt, he gonna jump in and stop it. But I've seen this ref quite a bit, but I don't know his name though. So is he known for stopping fights, or do you think this was just a one-time thing?
I've never seen him, so that's another thing.
Yeah.
I don't think
I've seen him a handful of times. So
you have.
I never seen him.
Oh, you never seen him either?
No, I never seen him.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Small shows too, so you be seeing him. I don't know. Sometimes I don't think I ever seen him in it. It might have been in the fight, and I just didn't pay attention. But certain refs stand out when you see him multiple times. But I've never seen him. So.
Hey, bro, he looked like the big center that used to play for the Celtics. The dude Taco Fall, he looked like Taco Fall. Like he looked just like Taco Fall. I seen him. I said, "Yo, he looked like Taco Fall, man." That's how I know I never seen him before, because I would have remembered that face. He looked just like Taco Fall. Like, you know, I didn't like. It was crazy because like Rances went through all of the steps to get back into the fight. Like he got up. He took a little walk.
Right.
He asked for the gloves. He got the gloves. Rances looked at him like, "Yo, let me back in the game, coach."
Right.
And
he
just looked at him and was just like, "Nah."
He waved it off. Yeah. So
it was
definitely controversial, man. I didn't understand that either, man.
I think
it was a beautiful hook. It was a beautiful hook, and this Ohio runs by. It's hard to land that hook on the southpaw. That lead hook. That was a Roy Jones type hook. Like you don't really see that too much against the southpaws, man. So it was an impressive shot.
Yeah,
it was a shame it had to end like that.
Right.
You know, when you look at certain referees, in my opinion, need to look at certain when they look at fighters that they know they're about to be in the ring with. You got to look at their history. You got to know if the fighter can take a punch from getting up. You have to know that. I remember people being mad at me when I was defending, because I always look at both sides. People think I'm just biased because of Ohio run boxing, but if you follow me long enough, you see that I just call stuff the way it is.
Right.
I understood the controversy behind Tyson Fury when people was talking about the count. But I was also saying you got to look at the other side from the referee's position, where if you a champion and you know this guy that got knocked down plenty of times and get back up and he comes forward, you have to give him that chance. Tyson Fury earned the right to get back up and see if he can go forward, and he always showed you that he can do it. I seen it from the Stephen Cunningham. That boy he took a big shot. So referees need to be aware when they see these guys that take these type of shots that can get up and they have quick recovery rates. That is so huge in boxing. That's so huge. That's really huge. It gets overlooked, where you see a guy that get hurt, clipped a little bit, and they go right back into it and they never get hurt again sometimes.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. And it goes with what you were saying, man. Referees need to do their homework too. Mm-hmm. Just like judges, I feel like judges need to do their homework. Judges need to do their homework. Referees need to do their homework. To be honest with you, these commissioners and the people that be working the locker rooms and stuff like that, it just need to be education across the board, you know, in boxing. You know, you can't just walk into the arena and just think you got everything figured out. Like, come in, I know when I go into work, I got to do my homework before I come into work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's the same thing. And I think the Tyson Fury thing is a great example. Because if you remember that referee, right? That referee, he just stopped Ohio Runs Boxing. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the same referee that was in the Brian Perella fight. when he fought Ramos, and Ramos knocked him down in the 10th round, in the last round, and it was like 5 seconds left, and he stopped the fight.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled a Mildred Taylor.
Yep.
He pulled a Mildred Taylor. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he had that fight right before the Fury and Wilder fight. So I think that was in the back of his mind too. So I think he did do his homework, and he probably was like, because he caught a lot of heat off of that fight. And actually, I think PBC agreed with that because Peralta actually got the Tony Harrison fight right after that.
Fact.
It almost seemed like a gift, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just no, but Ohio Burns Box, you hit the nail on the head, bro. Like these referees have to do their homework, and I'm like, Rances Barthelemy got caught with a good shot, but it wasn't a kill shot. It wasn't a kill switch. It wasn't the kill switch. And anybody that knows boxing know that wasn't the kill switch. It wasn't it wasn't no stank leg. It wasn't none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You go.
Right.
It was you. I look at the body language. It's always about the body language. I don't care about, because there's a lot of guys that get clipped, and you know, everybody talk, oh, he hurt this and this and this, and you can get hit, and then when you get up and see how this body move, you don't go in for the kill. Look at Crawford. When Crawford went in for the kill for Gamboa was able to hit him coming in. Gamboa wasn't all the way hurt, and Crawford, in my opinion, learned from that. So when he knocked down Victor Posto twice, who has a quick recovery rate, Victor Posto had it wasn't a hard shot where Victor lost his legs and nothing. It was good, just good punch. Good shot. But Crawford never went in for the kill because he learned from that Gamboa fight that the fighter ain't hurt just because he went down. And that's what referees need to pay attention to.
That's why they call some knockdowns flash knockdowns. That's the exact meaning of it. Flash knockdown is don't take it no further than that moment. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Once they get up and they start fighting again, it's right back to business. You go through the same process you did before to get that guy in trouble. Like you take AJ when he fought Pulev, when he got that knockdown early in that fight, he stayed patient. He stayed patient in that fight. The Andy Ruiz fight, when he rocked him early in the fight, he stayed patient. You know what I'm saying? And you have to know when to go in for the kill and when to stay patient. But the referee needs to know that too. Right. That person get knocked down, they like, okay, that wasn't a kill shot. Yeah. Let me see this play out a little bit more. Yeah. You know when it's and it don't matter, bro. Ohio Runs Boxing, bro. It don't matter if it's on TV. It don't matter if you in the crowd. We all know what a kill shot look like. Yeah. We all know what a kill shot look like. That wasn't no kill shot. Even the postal joint wasn't a kill shot. Nah. Wasn't a kill shot, bro.
It's like we see it, that we know the referees are supposed to see it too, unless, like you say, it must be a fix-in or something, because there is no way. We had this and it happened in the amateurs in Cleveland for our qualifiers that we had down here, man. We had a guy named Andrew Zimmett out of Dayton. He's tough. He's at 168. He's a version, I believe, like a Triple G, man. He's tough as heck. He entered the tournament for the first time, but he was getting stoppages, man. He was impressive. And what happened was he got an 8 count on this one guy, and the one guy came back and got an 8 count on him, and then the dude got another 8 count. I think it was another standing 8 on him. But when he got the second one, it was just a landed clean shot. You know how the amateurs is. Yeah. And Z went to commit to fighting him back and still go back. It was a shot. The referee called it off. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on? It was so controversial because he hit him with the shot, but it wasn't no solid shot where he actually hurt him. They was exchanging with each other. It was like, and this is 168. So you got these big guys, and you got, I think it was a female, I think it was a female referee. And she actually waving it off while he's throwing the combination. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, really? You waving it off after he's throwing the combination in between the shot. It was crazy. And it was his first time. Yeah, it was the referee. Wild. The coach was pissed. It was
it sounded like I would have been pissed. I ain't even see it. It sounded like I'd have been pissed, man. Like that's crazy, but it's just, man, these people.
It's a great topic to have. It's a great topic to even discuss and talk about. Like you brought up Andy Ruiz and AJ, man, that was a great sequence where Ruiz went down. Andy Ruiz went down from that shot, boom, but he wasn't hurt. You see, he was just hit with like, oh, snap, good shot. It was almost like that Sean Porter and Broner. Oh,
Yeah.
snap, you got me. That was a good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm back. You know what I'm saying? He didn't lose his
Right.
range. And
Right.
AJ thought he was hurt because he hit the ground. And he
Yeah.
put himself in a vulnerable position by going in for the kill. And Andy was right there and hit him on the top of the head.
And it was a wrap after that. Yeah, and that's
you can't go in the kill, man. As soon as the guy go down, he's hurt.
Yeah, and to cap that off, bro, like I think any other fighter in any other weight class can survive from an equilibrium shot. But them heavyweights, they get hit with the equilibrium shot and them legs do the stank leg 9 times out of 10, they not gonna recover
Right.
for the rest of the fight, man. Like that,
Yeah.
it was pretty much easy pickings for Andy Ruiz. Like Ruiz after that, you could tell his equilibrium was off because his legs went like 6 different ways. He did the whole he did the John Morant dance before he went to the ground, man. Like you know what I'm saying, he did the gritty. You know what I'm saying? So
I was reading Tyson Fury was saying like them shots from Wilder, man. He said he felt like he gonna have brain damage. So that's probably why he don't want to come back. You know, he retired. He said like, you know, especially in that third fight, man, you know, them trading them knockdowns. Yeah, the heavyweight division, man. Those hard to recover from them knockouts, man.
Yeah, that's why I got a lot of respect for, you know, like the AJs of the world and things like that. The 2 things I got respect for is heavyweights that bounce back no matter how much they get knocked down. You know what I'm saying? Them guys like that, and then the guys that make a lot of title defenses. Because it's easy to get a belt, man, but to actually defend that thing a couple times, it take a whole different monster to, you know, defend a belt a couple times. That's why, you know, people bring up AJ and, you know, guys like that. I got a lot of respect for them because they take on fights that I don't agree with stylistically.
Right.
Like I was like, yo, me and my man Shane was saying like, yo, AJ, drop that belt, bro. You still got 2 left. You can take Tyson Fury on. That's $100 million fight right there. Drop that belt. And this was before Usyk won. And I'm like, bro, drop that belt. And he ended up taking a fight. And that's the worst stylistic matchup he could take. You know what I mean? So he takes on any and everybody. So I respect him for that, man. He don't get enough credit for that neither.
Nah, he don't. He does. I give him his credit, man. His prosper due, man. Another thing too, I remember talking about Wilder too. When I mentioned Wilder, people was talking about his punching power and saying, "Oh, he hasn't knocked out nobody and this and this." And I'm like, guys, just because y'all don't respect the guys he knocked out, does not mean that man don't have punching power. If he's knocking out 40 guys, and he's doing it in dramatic fashion. When it comes to the skill set, that's where it separates. When you fight guys in the top 3, that's able to try to that offset you or make you mix your punches up to try to land your shot. That's when it becomes different when you're at the top level. But it does not change that you can't punch. That does not mean you can't punch. You just got to be able to set it up better against a skillful fighter. But I never look at a guy, he doesn't have power because he ain't fought nobody. That's the silliest thing. Ernie Savers didn't knock out a lot of guys that had big names, but the man had 68 KOs out of 74 fights.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%, bro. Like that is 100% facts, man. I mean, you take like Wilder, you can just tell when dudes got power, man. Like you can tell when dudes got power.
Absolutely.
And as far as Wilder's skill set, this is and people criticize me, probably Ohio, the same way they probably criticize you because you bringing up certain points and it's just not a popular opinion. I'm like, people talk about Wilder and his lack of skill set. I said, I'm gonna tell you the one fight where he actually showed he has boxing IQ. You take the Luis Ortiz fight, right? Now, Ohio, you stop me if I'm lying. So the first half of the fight, Luis Ortiz is getting off on him because Luis Ortiz, he is the master at that hop step to get his foot outside of yours and then he go to work. So he was doing that the first maybe 3-4 rounds. Wilder couldn't figure it out. So probably from round 5 on, this is when he actually got Luis Ortiz in trouble. What he started doing, he started throwing, remember that little slapping check left hook he was throwing? No real power on it, just a little slapping check left hook. and people ain't know what he was doing. And I'm like, yo, he's throwing that check left hook literally to get Luis Ortiz to stop hopping his foot over his. It's the centering. Soon as he start doing that, straight right hand, right down Broad Street, boom, change the whole fight. So that for him to be smart enough to know that's what he had to do, because Breland and them ain't tell him that in the corner. You know that for a fact.
Right.
He had to figure that out on his own. So that's why I give Wilder more credit than some people in terms of his boxing IQ. Like you take the shot that he landed against what was the shot that he landed against the ball?
Stroker.
Yeah. Bro, there's welterweights that can't land that shot. Yep. The timing on it, bro, he's on the ropes and caught him coming in, and he caught him with the right hand underneath.
And it was ratings. That was a rating shot. We never seen that in the heavyweight in a long time. And
bro,
our generation that we got to witness punching power like this was amazing. I don't care what nobody say. He brought excitement back, and it's always been about the big man. Let's not play stupid, guys. We know it's always been about the big man. When you see them giants falling down like that, Dominique Brazil, it is exciting.
Bro, shout out to Brazil for getting up. I was like, yo.
And another thing, to top up what you were saying, G5, about his skill set, I actually posted this on my Facebook a couple months ago. I was like, did y'all know Wilder beat a Cuban to win bronze? How hard that is to beat the Cubans? Like, people don't mention this stuff. We talking about a guy who started late. His story is almost, to me, and I said this before, it's almost like a Bible story that you just read up on. A guy who had punch and power that most people in the heavyweight division is cheating to get and possess. PEDs is everywhere, right? But this guy was so natural about his daughter, and his right hand took him a long way, and it was a lot of jealousy and hate because of that. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to bring up Wilder, man, and take off what we was talking about, man. But that was just, we just chopping it up.
He a Hollywood story for sure. You could do a movie on him for sure. You could do a movie on him for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm saying pictures of him training. I seen picture of him with Battle Jet, and I seen picture of him with Michael Hunter. So it definitely like he's back in the gym for sure.
That's another thing too, man. They say the power starts from within your legs. He got the smallest legs I've ever seen in my life. Right. Like I'm like this dude. Yeah. This dude is amazing, man. Like I was like, this dude is crazy.
It's God given.
Yeah, it is, man. He's definitely God given. But we was talking about the second fight on the card. What's his name? The heavyweight.
Kyle Naki.
Yeah, that's where we were at when you came.
Yeah, that's where we was at.
Oh, okay. Bro, it's you know what, bro? Listen, when you look at Kyle Naki, probably maybe 2-3 years ago, he had one of the better resumes in the heavyweight division in terms of his wins and things like that. But when you run into that one guy, everybody has their kryptonite. Everybody has their kryptonite, and you have to, in the business of boxing, you have to recognize your kryptonite and make the smart decision. Robert Helenius was just kryptonite. I thought he was going to win the first fight before the first fight happened. I said it's a bad style matchup for him because you could tell Helenius has been improving over the past 2 years. Like prior to that fight, you could see his skills developing. So when he beat Kyle Naki the first time, it was bad. There was nothing in that fight that was like, yo, you need to get that back. That was one of them, yo, you got your chin checked. That's not a good look. We gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving. And that's where he made his mistake. He was just like, no, I gotta go get that back. And then it turned around and happened again. And I'm like, the psyche of a fighter is the most precious thing that they have. You could be the most physically gifted dude in the world, but if your psyche is gone, it doesn't matter. Listen, look at Broner. I love Broner. He has all the talent in the world. Like when he let his hands go, like, and not getting off topic, but just when he lets his hands go, he is one of the more dynamic offensive fighters you are going to find in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
But when your psyche is gone, you understand what I'm saying? When your psyche is gone, your physical tools don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Does not matter. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter at the end of the day. And I think Adam Kalnacki mental is gone. Like he has to be reprogrammed on actually how to win a fight. And
That
he
is
may
so
be,
true, man.
yeah,
That's
he
true.
may be Ohio. He may be one of the worst. He may be one of the worst defensive fighters I've ever seen in my life. So
Yeah,
the fact that he's gotten as far as he's gotten with the lack of
crazy.
defense, it's amazing what he's actually accomplished.
That's
Yeah.
crazy what you that you said that because we was talking about that. I compared him to what's his name, Ruslan, that didn't have a long career. I said that. I said he was more like a Ruslan. We knew he
You
was
talking about
excited.
Provodnikov?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said he was exciting to watch, but he took so much beating. We knew his career wouldn't last. That happens. And what you just said, to even capitalize on what you said about the mental aspect, that's going to be tough for him to come back. And I actually said the same thing about Lubin. I said the same thing about Erickson Lubin. Erickson Lubin took some beatings, and that fight with Sebastian Fedor, I think took a lot out of him. I would love to see him come back, but man, he got an uphill battle.
Bro, I messaged Kevin Cunningham probably like a week after the fight, and he said he was good and all that. And the sad thing about that fight, yo, I'm like, he shouldn't even have had to have taken that fight.
Mm-hmm.
He fought two different final eliminators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back to back. And the only reason they put him in with another eliminator is because Charlo was the champion. How do you actually promote that fight when he got knocked out within the first minute of that fight? There's no way you can promote that. It don't matter what kind of run Lubin was on. It don't matter.
Yeah.
It was no way they was going to be able to promote that fight. So they made him. I felt like as long as Jermell Charlo was the champion, Lubin was never going to get that title opportunity.
Yeah,
until Charlo got beat.
I agree from that standpoint because I never looked at it that way, but I looked at it how the WBC does certain, and I'm going to say it, black fighters. Mm-hmm. They have to fight double eliminators. They did that to Sean Porter. Sean had to fight eliminator with Adrian Granados, eliminator with Berto, and I'm like, what's all these darn eliminators? And,
right.
They do that, and that's the politics of boxing. It seemed like they purposely try to do certain things like that. But if that was like a Ryan Garcia at 154 and they want him to have the title, he only would have had to fight one eliminator. Let's just keep it
That's
real.
A fact. That's a fact. And just to kind of slam the door on that, bro. They wanted Danny Garcia to have a belt. So who they put him up in, against in the final eliminator? Brandon Rios. Yep. Brandon Rios wasn't qualified to bag groceries at that point. And he's in the title eliminator. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Real rap. But when they want it, but Ohio, it goes to your point. When they want a guy to have a title or a title shot, they gonna line it up and they gonna make it real nice for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? But because Erickson Lubin wasn't in that clique, in that circle, he's not one of WBC's guys. Yep. They made him run through the gauntlet. Man. If Brian Castano had all the belts except for Charlo, he would have got his shot after the Rosario win. Yep. That's a fact.
Yep, absolutely.
Because Charlo still had the belt, they like, nah, we can't promote that. They was gonna give it the shot to everybody but Lubin.
Yeah, and Lubin, like I said, I hate those type of fights, man. Lubin, that Kavanovsky, trying to say his name, I can't even pronounce that boy's name. I think the mental of those guys when they lose. Now he probably didn't take a beating like Lubin did, but it's the mental when you lose multiple times, and definitely when you done worked your way back, trying to work your way back to getting there, and then you lose the way you lose. It's devastating.
He was right there, bro.
I don't know if y'all remember Antonio. What's his name? Antuanne Douglas.
Yes.
Antoine Douglas. That's the guy. I followed him. Me and him talked all the time, man. Showed love. I was a big fan of Antoine out of New Jersey. I believe that's where he's from.
Facts.
Now, I remember him sitting on the stool and they called that fight against Spelka. Not Spelka, but Sullivan. Spike O'Sullivan.
Spike.
That was on HBO, man. And that was like, wow, man. He had another opportunity to try to capitalize, and he took a beating because his first beating was from the Russian dude that went to jail. I forgot the Russian dude. He went.
Oh yeah, I know you. Damn, I forgot his name. I know you talking about
like
too.
The Baby Tyson or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
He was dressed like Mike. You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. I know you talking about.
He was at 160.
Yeah,
he's the dude that stopped Douglas, right? Is he the dude that stopped Antoine Douglas? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was the first one to stop Douglas. Yeah.
And he was acting like he was Baby Tyson. They was calling him Baby Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Hi, Mike."
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, man.
That's
that was that dude had crazy power, man.
He did.
Yeah.
But that was me being a fan of Antuanne, man, and following him through the amateurs and stuff, like seeing that was devastating because I personally didn't think he was able to come back. I never said that out publicly, but I just didn't think he would come back after that, man. It was just like it took so much out of these fighters, man.
Yeah.
And who knows, Kowalski, he might be in that same situation, man, in the, losing like that, man. But it wasn't as bad. So I don't want to compare those, but it wasn't as bad. But when you have, like you just said, the mental aspect of you just losing and losing again, it becomes it's your psyche. You're so used to it.
Every loss ain't equal. You know what I mean? Every loss ain't equal. We'll double back to Lubin. The Charlo loss was an easier one to recover from than this Fundora loss is going to be, because not only was it a sustained, like, physically taxing fight, I think Lubin probably fought about as well as he could fight in that fight and still walked out like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not only is it the physical pounding that he took, but the fact that you put your best foot forward and you had chances to finish the deal, that's like a triple kick. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's a triple kick. So it's like, and I love Lubin's game. I love Lubin's game, man. Like, and I felt like he had some, people don't know this, he had something in his contract to where if he gets to a certain point, he automatically gets a title shot. That was actually in his contract.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was actually in his contract because people was mad that he got the Charlo fight. People was mad he got the Charlo fight, and they was like, how did he get the actual fight? No, he had something in his contract with Al, basically fast track. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
And it makes sense. That makes sense because it seemed like they was pushing him because he like you said, he came out like the Floyd Mayweather, the gladiator thing. I thought that was dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, Millie know that. YSM know that. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, he's and I was just like, and I'm sitting up here and I'm like, whether he can win the fight or not, all right, cool. But I was just like, yo, this bad timing. Like he didn't have the fights to groom him for that moment. You know what I mean? Like, and listen, Charlo hit him with probably, I'm not gonna say a lucky shot, but that's one of the weirdest shots
it was
that you can get hit with. Because I'm like, yeah, like because Lubin actually did everything you're supposed to do in a position like that. When you trying to get off of a shot, if you can't just flat avoid it, just left, right, you're taught to dip and go low, go towards the guy, smother the work. That's what he went to go do, and just the shot he got caught with was so weird, bro.
Yeah. I didn't even know it landed. I was like,
I didn't know it landed.
Yeah.
Yo, you know how they shoot them deers? Like they be having them hunting joints and they shoot them deers and they just drop. I was like, what happened to him? And I had to see the replay and I was like, damn, like
he struggled to get up, man.
That's one of the craziest shots I ever seen in my life, man.
That's why I tell you, man. Charlo is my favorite fighter, man. Just the power he possessed, man. It's not like he got a lot of knockouts, but he just he's skillful. He's skillful, and a knockout eventually come.
I don't know if you see, Ty. People criticize me for having him in my top 5 of punchers right now. I had him as one of my top 5 right now, just because he's knocking out champions, and
that's what I said. Same thing I said, man.
Yeah, he's knocking out champions. that's a prestige thing. You know, when you're knocking out champions, just like Arthur Benavidez, what's his name? Arthur. That's impressive. Bateria. Yeah, that's impressive to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're knocking out guys like that because it's hard to try to knock out the champs. You know what I mean? It's not that easy.
It's not really Ohio, that's the sign of a true power guy. Right, because we know the majority of high level and championship fights go the distance. Mm-hmm. So, and Charlo is getting it in multiple ways. I'm like, he knocking people out early, he getting them late, he getting them after he's in trouble. So he's showing you different levels of getting it. Absolutely. It's some guys, a lot of these power guys are front runners. Mm-hmm. Charlo's in my top 5 in terms of just actual power guys, because I'm like, you don't know. He's showing you he can give it to you on all levels. Right. All levels. Like, and a lot of people's power don't carry. That's the first sign of a power guy. Yep. Guy power that carries. Like, dudes be cracking. After the 4th round, you ain't got to worry about him. Yeah. Charlo, you got to worry about him in round 9, 11. Like, who you saying do Castano like that?
Not nobody right now. With that mindset. And it was more, what's so impressive about that knockout with Castano is that he knocked the dog out of him. It's so hard fighting guys like that with that mindset that you're going to have to kill me. And when you hit that out of him, there's nothing he can do. It's like, what the heck happened, man? I want to still fight you. Yeah. And that's when you know you got power, because it's like hitting a Sean Porter and stuff like when Earl hit Sean and people's like, oh, well, that's a different Earl. I said, listen, he hit him with the best shot you can hit him with. And Sean is just a freaking dog. They got a quick recovery rate where he's going to come forward. But, that's Castano to me. Castano was similar to that. You know what I mean? So when you break him and hit them with those shots, man, that was impressive, man. So, speaking of before, that Danny, we're going to get into the Danny in a minute.
Ooh. Yeah, let's legend. Throw it off, bro. I'm ready to get into that.
Yeah. Hey, let me get into these comments for a second, man.
Go.
Let's see. He said Yvonne Camper, hey Tyron, looking good. That's my girl, man. Yeah. Ryan Hanley, shout out to you. He's not the same fighter anymore. He was talking about Kalnacki.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
So Lewis Reed, let's go, cousin T. Finney. Big shouts to him. That's my cousin.
Big shout out.
Yeah. Ryan Hanley again. Ryan Garcia got knocked down against Campbell, but came back strong with that vicious body shot and dropped Luke, ended the fight.
Yeah, that was another good shot, but Ryan wasn't hurt. That was another shot.
Facts. He was not Facts, bro. Facts.
Whoever brought that up, man, he know what he's talking about. That was another. We was talking about that.
That's a perfect example. And you know the thing too. And like Ryan Garcia was like a hot topic. Before we get into the Danny thing, like, so he got knocked down with the Luke Campbell shot, right? If you notice his next 2 fights, he don't leave out that back door with them hands down no more. He don't. He got a hand up. And if the hook is coming the other way, he trying to shoulder roll his way out of it. He learned from that shot. So I'm like, he's with Goosen now. And it take Ohio, you already know, it take about 3 to 4 camps for a trainer to really put their stamp on a fighter. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, people better hope, because I'm like, Ryan Garcia is one of the most physically talented dudes you're going to find, like pure physical talent. Like, don't let him figure things out from a technical standpoint, because if he figure things out from a technical standpoint, it's going to be, I don't know how far he can go, but he's going to cause some issues with that physical talent. But that's a great example, though. Like, that was a knockdown, but it wasn't a kill shot. But the referee, credit to the referee for knowing that it wasn't a kill shot and letting it go.
Oh, yeah, because once he recovered, man, like I said, he came back strong. And Lomachenko, another one. Clint.
Yeah.
By Leonard. He wasn't
right. Yo, he was sitting there like, what the hell just happened?
Good shot, man. It's like, sometimes it's feet positioning. It's about your feet positioning too. You get hit and your feet ain't right, you're going down, man. So it's sometimes we got to be careful how we try to manipulate. I ain't even say manipulate. How to judge fighters who get hit with shots and they go down up and then say, "Oh, they chinny." Like, no, he hasn't. Robert Easter been down twice. He got clipped by Richard Coleman where his glove nipped the mat, and they called it a knockdown. Then Mikey Garcia hit him with a shot where it was about the feet positioning and he fell.
Yeah, he was backing up. He's leaving out the back door.
Yeah, but no, he chinny, he went through the whole fight, man. So, and Mikey couldn't hit him with a shot that really hurt him, but he did put a beating on him. But we can't say that.
Facts.
But go ahead, let's start this Danny, man. Let's get on.
Let's start this Danny. Let's start this Finney. Let's start this Danny up. Let's start this Danny Garcia up, bro.
Man. Like, before we get into that, man, I was telling Ohio Runs Boxing, every single fight last weekend, man, I predicted. I got all my predictions right.
Okay.
So I knew Danny would win, man, just because his resume is so solid. He's been in there with a lot of good names. So Danny. I already knew he was gonna win, man. He looked impressive to be at 154. So I think he got a good future at 154.
Ohio, jump it off, bro.
Man, he said I didn't give him the win just so clear. I'm gonna be honest. I was 50-50 with it because I didn't see Jose's last performance either. So that's where I was out. But that's why I had it 150-50. But Jose was a good counter puncher, and I think that was the downfall of him. He was trying to look for a big shot against Danny Garcia, who has a great chin. That's an iron chin right there. Mm-hmm. That's a wrong game plan to have for a guy like Danny. Danny don't really like fighters who got good work rate. You know what I'm saying? You got to really throw combination punches with Danny just because he got great timing. That's what the offset him. So I didn't see that. I thought Jose would be able to pull off like a Lamont Peterson did in the second half of that fight, where he was able to get it. He had the spurts in the fight, but it just wasn't enough. But hats off to Danny for showing me feet work. I heard certain people, man, they were trying to light me up, talking about, oh man, feet work, but he didn't look that good. I said, yes, he did, because we're not used to seeing Danny do that. Danny is the one always trying to come forward, laying that left hook and his foot planted. So he got the shot off a couple times, but he didn't look for that night. It was just more like he was boxing and trying to get the feel for the weight, listening to the game plan, and they did that. You got to have legs at 154, bro.
That's a fact.
You got to have legs, and when the people he called out at the end of that fight, I thought that was I don't know about Keith Thurman. Keith wanting Keith to come to 154. I don't know about that. Will we watch it if it's another rematch? Yeah, I think I'll watch it. I wouldn't have no problem watching it, but I think it was smart for him to call Laura. I think it was smart for him to call out Laura, because Laura's showing us that he's not moving lateral that much in his last fight. Laura's more stationary. He was more stationary and he was willing to engage, which I like seeing that too. Laura is showing us that he got decent inside game. You know what I mean? So he's getting towards the end of his career, and I think Danny and his team looking at that. That's the only reason why they call Laura out, because if Laura is boxing, Danny doesn't have a chance.
That's a fact. Yeah, bro. I thought Danny was going to win the fight. The reason I didn't have it 50-50 like you, Ohio, is because I did see Benavidez last fight. He got a majority draw, and I thought he lost. I thought it was a gift. So I thought Danny and Ohio, like you said, like guys that Danny don't have to go finding inside the ring. He usually has success against them offensively. Like Jose Benavidez is going to be right at the front door waiting for him. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like Danny was going to have a good night offensively. Now, I wasn't expecting the movement. He used his jab a lot more than he usually does too. Like, how he'll fight maybe 1 minute out the round and it'll be big shots. But I feel like that's why he lost the Porter fight, because he didn't have enough activity in between the big shots. You know what I'm saying? And Sean Porter, the perception was that he outworked him, which he did. But Danny had a whole highlight reel worth of big shots against Sean. Nobody's ever landed that many shots against Sean. Like big shots, like nobody. And the key with Danny is, what is he doing in between those big shots? and he did a great job of moving around the ring. And the thing with Benavidez is we know his leg ain't the same. So the game plan was perfect. Pop him off with the jab, get your hooks in, but constantly make him reset. Make him reset every single time. And the reason why Benavidez couldn't really get off like that is because he had to pivot and reset. He had to pivot and reset all the time. And that's why Benavidez was always a second too late with everything. When he was trying to be the aggressor, he was a second too late with the shot. When he was trying to counterpunch, second too late with the shot. Even when he was in the pocket, he's responding on the back end and not on the front end. So Danny's game plan was perfect. Now, going forward, it depends on if you're really trying to develop Danny the right way at 154 or you trying to fast track him. Whatever I got two different paths for Danny depending on how they want to develop him. Like if they want like a quick cash out within the next year or so, I'll give you two names. But if they trying to develop him right, I got another set of names. But Danny looked impressive, man. He looked impressive, man, for sure.
Who do you think he should fight? Like who's the name?
So all right, so if they're trying to develop him right, like I think Terrell Garcia would be a good name for him. Garcia is a dude. He got a solid name. He's been in with names, but we know who he is though.
Yeah,
like we know who he is. Like, it's just when it come down to when them lights is bright and it's time for him to perform, he just don't. He disappoints me so much, bro. Like, he frees up, man, and he has one good moment every fight. Like when he fought Lubin, he had that one good moment. When he fought Tim Tszyu, he had that one good moment. When he fought Austin Trout, if you could turn up on Austin Trout for half of the fight, you should have turned up on him on the whole fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Terrell, he's that dude. He that dude in the club that be hollering at all the girls and never come out with the number. That's Terrell Garcia. That's Terrell Garcia. He never get the number, man. Like, I'm like, yo, bro, like he frustrates me so much because I'm like, Ohio, you know this. His amateur background is heavy.
I know.
His amateur background is heavy. He was supposed to be one of them dudes coming out. You know what I'm saying? And bad style matchup. They put him up against Lara when Lara was in his prime.
Yeah, you know what? I think, and that's true. And I think one thing about Terrell, because you nailing it on the head, man. You dropping some jewels. He still fought like an amateur in the pros, and he never. One thing that I noticed that he does too, man, was he never slip punches. He stays in the high guard, and likes to fight out of the high guard all the time, and that's not good, man. You have to be able to slip certain punches too, man, where you can be able to see it. And if you putting your gloves up, man, and you inviting them to punch you all the time, you know what I mean? You got to be able to be slick and move around. And that's something he never adapted to. It's a lot of guys who are Olympians who come in and they never make adjustments like that, man, which was, like I said, was frustrating because I don't care what nobody said. You know, I'm from Ohio, so certain people, oh yeah, you just biased. No, I think Terrell beats Tim if he fights a different fight, man. He seemed like he was hesitant from the punching power before you even got it. You didn't even receive it yet.
Yeah.
You didn't even receive it yet. You waiting for
fact.
it.
That's a fact. That's such facts, bro. Like it's crazy, man, because it's like when Garcia frustrate, he's probably like top 5 on my list in terms of fighters that just frustrate me the most. And it's because your potential is so high because I'm like, you've been properly educated. You went through the amateur rank. You did everything that you were supposed to do. And I'm like, all you got to do is just go in there and let your hands go. Whenever he lets his hands go, he has success. And it don't matter who it's against. When he started letting his hands go against Austin Trout, had success. Trout couldn't do nothing with him.
Demonte Clark.
DeMonte Clark, he let his hands go. You seen what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought DeMonte Clark was going to win that fight.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah,
I think he was favored, and it's like, I don't know what it is, and I guess I don't know what it is, but I'm like, some guys have to realize, like, the best position to put yourself in is to let your hands fly. Let your hands fly. Trust your reflexes. Because Terrell Gausha hasn't been hit with no kill shots. He's been knocked down before, but he hasn't been hit with no kill shots. You know what I'm saying?
I think he got Lubin hit him with some good.
Oh no, Lubin did get that might have been the one. I forgot about that. I take that back. He took one kill shot.
He got one.
That was definitely a kill shot. He definitely got a beard on him. But I think if he let his hands go, I think the Austin Trout fight, that should have been a victory. I think he could have beat Tim Tszyu, but I think Tim Tszyu and his team looked at him the same way I look at him.
Yeah.
Like, yo, when the lights is on, he not gonna show up. He not gonna show up to the party.
No,
and that's
and I agree with you. That's a good opponent for Danny at this level too right now. That would be a good opponent. But I remember after that fight with Terrell, I got a phone call from another Ohioan from 154, and he was frustrated. I can give y'all the insight on this one. It was Charles Conwell. He said, "Man, you know what Charles said, do you know what I would do to Tim?" I said, "Man, I already know."
Conwell beats Tim right now.
We don't have to tell you right now. We don't have to tell Charles to let his hands go.
Charles Conwell beats Tim Tszyu right now. Like,
absolutely. Like,
Charlo's gonna beat the crap out of Tim Tszyu, man. He's not ready.
Yeah, that's the same thing I said. But it's a lot of guys who disagree with me there. They think Tim Tszyu is gonna present a tough challenge for Charlo. I don't see it.
No, maybe I think it's good to hype him up to knock him down. Yeah, hype him up.
Yeah,
like Floyd said the same thing. Hype him up. That's what I tell people all the time. I don't care. He's the best. Say he's the best Australian fighter of all time. We're gonna hype him up because we knocking that tree down, and we're gonna take all the accolades with it.
That Charlo that showed up in his last fight. If that Charlo shows up, he don't stand a chance, man.
Man, like the lateral movement that he normally wasn't doing as much. I was like, the boy showed progress, man. And I said, you got to give him that, man, because he wasn't fighting on his back foot and keeping the jab popping. I mean, he kept that jab consistent.
That was a masterful performance, man. Like that's how you if you had to pull some tape out on how you handle an aggressive fighter, you run that tape back. You run that tape back, man. Like Charlo was so impressive on so many different levels. And I'm like, you with a guy that aggressive, and they go back to a name that you mentioned earlier, Ohio, Ruslan Provodnikov. When you run up against guys like that, bro, they not trying to sneak in through the back door, through the side door. They coming through the front door. But you have to find multiple ways to make them reset. So if you notice early in that fight, right, Charlo clinched. He clinched him first round, second round, clinched him. Third round on, he started countering in between those shots. And then later on in the fight, he started standing there with him, started letting him have it. You know what I'm saying? He went through like a 3-4 step process before he even got to the knockout. And I'm like, yo, the people that's watching the fight, Ohio legend, we watch fights different. Like, we don't watch fights the same as the typical person that's in the boxing. And I'm like, y'all don't realize what y'all just watched. I'm like, Charlo went through like a 4 or 5 step process to get to the knockout moment. Right. It was crazy. That was one of the most impressive performances and people got to realize. I was like, that was for all the marbles. He took a top 2, top 3 dudes. It was a good fight. He took a top 2, top 3 dude and did that to him. Like, systematically just mowed him down. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah. You think he made a lot of improvements from the first fight? Because I know the first fight, Castano had Charlo in trouble. I can't remember which round, but he had him in trouble, though.
Charlo kept purposely going back to the ropes. I don't feel like Castano was forcing him back to. He was going back, and I'm like, bro, don't do that. Right? You dictate it. You know what I mean? Don't go back there and just have.
Castano. So they learn, but again, he learned from that, bro. That's what I want to see when certain fighters take rematches. We want to see if you really learn from it. And shout out to Derek. Shout out to Derek James. Ain't no hating in me. I'm still Team Crawford over here, man. But you got to give props.
Oh man, you Crawford too. All right. Oh, how do I like you, man? You all right with me, man. You all right with me, brother. I do. We few and far in between, man. But
yeah, he got two. I'm going with the guy with the tools, man. The tool bag.
Yeah, you know the thing that's crazy, yo. I'm like, it's the biggest fight in boxing, but I'm like, it's so simple to break down. I'm like, if Bud fights Spence the way he fight Postal, he could win 9-3 easy. If he go in there scrapping with Spence on some Sean Porter type stuff, then he gonna have problems.
Right.
If he use his feet, I'm not saying he gonna have an easy night at the office, but yeah.
I read something about Spence that he's ready to take it like 15 rounds. He sounded like he sounded like he pumped.
Listen. He probably do want to go 15 rounds. So the thing is, like, I'm like, Spence got to find Spence. If go ahead, bro, go ahead.
What he just said. That's what G5 was related to, because no, he want to.
He'll win that type of fight.
No, I said that's why Earl is saying that. He's talking about Hagler and Hearns. Earl is trying to bait Crawford into a Hagler and Hearns. He knows if Crawford fights box, bruh. Yeah, right. So let me see if I can lure you into a Hagler or Hearns, and then where I can get my volume punching on. Nope, buddy, you're gonna be offset, and when I come in, I'm gonna give you some. We're gonna have some exchanges, but it's gonna be when I want.
Yeah. And the thing about that, bro, is just like Crawford has more. I like Crawford because I like both guys. Let me get that out of the way. I like both guys. They both, they both gonna be Hall of Famers at the end of the day. But the thing about Crawford that I like, number one, he is not giving you a bad night at the office. He is not giving you a bad night at the office, and you can make the argument. Some people had Porter winning that Spence fight. Even with the knockdown, some people had Sean Porter winning that fight, man. Like, he lost like the first 5 rounds, like easy. He lost the first 5 rounds like easy. Nobody want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that knockdown saved him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I said that.
You can make the argument that was a 6-6 fight with a knockdown.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I know go ahead.
Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I just know that the compu box numbers, like, Spence landed like way more, like by a wide margin. But I mean, prior to the knockdown, I kind of had it like a draw. But like, Spence landed way more though. That was the crazy thing about it. He landed way more.
Yeah, and the thing about it though, that's why it was kind of misleading, because like people paid attention to Errol Spence being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? He was made uncomfortable by Porter. But if you actually break down,
but I don't always go by the copy box. I never go by the copy.
You going in and out, bro.
Yeah.
Box.
This Wi-Fi might be tripping.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he don't always go by the copy box. I don't either. We can hear you, bro. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. It was a service, man. I don't always go by the copy box, man, because certain shots where I see that where Earl was landing, it's on his side, it's the elbow, it's one of the shots that's actually being blocked. That copy box will just hit the button completely and just not even pay attention to what is actually being landed. So I've never paid attention to copy box just for that purpose. It's been a long time. So, some people use it for different areas, but it's always about what I see in the ring. That's just me, man. I've always been like, because there's a video on YouTube. It's kind of funny where they show Canelo copy box on HBO, and he's throwing punches, and the copy box button is actually just showing
that he's landing, but he's missing. He's throwing shots that's not even landing, but the copy box is actually saying he's landing.
Right.
So it's like, exposing that. But again, that still was an entertaining fight with Earl and Porter. But Porter was definitely in that fight. He was landing more shots than Earl ever been hit with. That's a fact. We didn't need copy box to understand.
Right.
Earl was being hit way more than he normally has.
And you don't see Spence going backwards either. He was going backwards pretty much most of the first half of that fight. And I think where Porter got where he got it screwed up at is like, bro, you done had your success. Now I need for you to switch it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I need for you to switch it up a little bit. Like he went in there the first 6 rounds, he was in the kitchen and he had his success. I'm like, now you got to change it up a little bit and give him a different look, because you could tell Spence was starting to adapt, and that's credit to Spence. It's not easy to adapt to a Sean Porter. Only the top level guys is gonna adjust to a Sean Porter type guy. So credit to him. But the thing about it is, it was up to Sean to adjust. Like I'm like, just because you having success in the kitchen don't mean it ain't hot in there. It's hot in there. Like, you see it? I'm like, you see it?
That's crazy you said that, because I said the same exact thing, and I'm talking about dead on. You're going to agree with me. I said the same thing about Tony Harrison against Charlo.
That's a
Tony
fact,
Harrison
bro.
Tony Harrison was doing good in the kitchen. He was actually backing Charlo up, and we were surprised to see that. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. Charlo was trying to maneuver and was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And Charlo is the puncher. And sometimes you have to have that type of game plan. Go in the kitchen and push the puncher back. Show him that you're not scared of him, because they're so used to preying on their opponent. But Tony Harrison should have mixed it up and stayed a little bit on the outside once that 9th and 10th and 11th start boxing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he got caught with an exchange.
That's a perfect example, bro. Perfect example. Because I think from maybe round 5 to like round 8, like Tony was dogging Charlo. He was dogging him. He was dogging him. He was winning. Like he was dogging him in that fight. And it's kind of similar to in Ohio. I know you probably run with this one too. People always talk about Broner lost to Chino. I'm like, listen, Broner won round 4, 5, 6, and 7, and he was putting paws on Chino. Yeah, he was putting paws on him from 4 through 7. So he ran off 4 straight before Chino got that second knockdown, and then it just went downhill for him. But that was another example of Broner staying in the kitchen a little too late. You know what I'm saying? Like he stayed in the kitchen a little too late, but that's a great example.
He tried to walk the bigger man down. That's why I like Broner is a bad boy, because I couldn't. Like you moving up to 147, you trying to walk the bigger man, because that's pretty much what he was trying to do. You know? That's not the game plan you want, but
Chino was like 160. He was like 160 something for that fight. Broner was like 156 fight night, so it was like a 5-pound difference. But yeah, Chino's smacking different, man.
Yeah, he's strong too.
Chino's smacking different, man, for sure. Definitely smacking different. But no, that's prime examples of like, yo, like you can't play around in the kitchen too long, man. Like you're gonna get burned at some point. But that's gonna be the key to the Crawford Spence fight. How long is Crawford gonna actually stay in the kitchen? He gonna have to get in there,
right?
But how long is he disciplined enough to get in the kitchen and be disciplined enough to get out of there? If he stays in there too long, it may not end too well for him. But if he's able to dip in and out, keep it kind of like postal, like, you know what I'm saying, like that, he's gonna have a great chance of winning. He can't have a fight like he did against Gamboa. He can't fight a Gamboa fight against Spence. He's losing. He's gonna lose.
So. Yeah, I think he definitely. One thing that Crawford does that I criticize him on, because I'm a fan of him too. I drove 9 hours to go see that fight, so people can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I drove to New York from Ohio, from Columbus, to go see that man. Yeah, and I learned from that experience too. I said I'm flying. That's the parking down there. The parking down there is crazy.
Yeah, parking is trash, bro.
Man, 500 just parking. Like, get the heck out of here. Bro.
That's a fact.
But no,
one thing that Crawford has, he has a dog, and you can use his aggression against him. And that's one thing that I didn't like about Crawford. When you hit him, he wants to pay you back. But when he fought Sean Porter, I'm trying to tell y'all, I talked to Kenny. I'm Team Ohio. So when they fought, I'm Team Porter. I'm talking to Kenny. That's part of the game plan. I'm talking to Kenny. Like, Kenny, he does this and this and this. And we like, yes, we're going to capitalize that. We're going to try to force him into a dog fight. When we hit him, we know the crowd roars. That's going to he's going to want to show that he is who he is. Mm-hmm. So, can we lure him in the fight that we feel like we can win? When that fight came, Sean hit Crawford with some solid shots. The man never came inside. He stayed disciplined. And me and Kenny talked after the fight. That was one of the biggest things that we pointed out was like he did not fall for the bait. It was only like one sequence where he started throwing about like a 3 or 4 combination where everybody's like, oh snap, here you go. He'd throw it like pop, 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 but then he reset and just moved out the way. And we was like, oh, we thought we was gonna get him. And I believe Crawford team knew that was part of the game plan too, to see if you can take him out of the game mentally. He was solid. He was solid in that department, man.
Ohio, another thing to add on to that, bro. Them rumors was flying around too about Crawford having trouble in camp with Brian Norman.
Oh yeah,
like them rumors was flying around too before that fight. So that might have put an extra emphasis on him having the strategy that he had, which was the correct strategy. Like whether you had to fight close or not going into the round where he got the knockdowns. I thought it was a close fight, going into that last sequence. But the thing is, Crawford went about it the right way. He went about it the right way. Like you're not gonna walk down Sean Porter. Like you're not gonna walk down Sean Porter, and you have to hit Sean Porter on angles. So Danny was the one person that landed the biggest shots against Sean. And the thing I used to tell people all the time, Legend, is Sean Porter does a lot of this. Side to side, I call it windshield wipers. If you go side to side, I said it really don't matter if you're going side to side. You got to cross the middle to get to the other side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Danny was just landing. He was just meeting him right in the middle. He was just, even when he was throwing the hooks, they was right down Broad Street. Right down Broad Street. And the shots that Crawford hit Porter with was shot straight down Broad Street, straight down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't avoid it. So it's like when you catch Sean, it'd be extra impact on it because more than likely he's moving, his head moving super fast. Right. Because that's all he does.
Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying?
I think he slowed down too because he has slowed down where you can able to start getting shots. And one thing I did hate, and like I said, I called stuff out. I hated that they tried to make it look like Crawford was just playing with him, and then he said, "Okay, let me get him out of in the 10th."
That's bullshit.
They said they asked him what the scorecards was, and then Crawford said, "Okay, let me get him out of." No,
hell no. Listen, and I love Crawford, but Sean ain't that sweet, yo. Cut that out, yo. People were saying that, bro. Like especially in Philly, I'm in Philly with YSM and everybody. Like the thing that's crazy, I'm like, people was actually running with that, and I'm like, first of all, y'all think Sean's sweet like that? And number two, do y'all think Crawford got it like that? It's a combination of both. Like,
right.
That's not, you're not doing that against, like, regardless of Sean Porter slowing down, he's still a top 7, top 8 guy in welterweight. He's been a top 7, top 8 guy for 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm. And he's never declined, even in his losses. You never sit there after a loss and then see him decline. He stayed Sean Porter. But what happened in that sequence, the round 9 prior to the 10, before he got the knockdown and then, leading to the stoppage, Crawford missed some big opportunities in round 9 where he started to find the range and find Sean. I was just like, ooh, snap, Sean, lucky he didn't land this shot already. So he already went into the 10th round knowing what he had to do. He found his range. That's what people didn't understand because it was a couple times he missed it.
Ohio, bro, you can't be more on point, bro. Because when you see guys setting the plate up, setting that table up, and they just miss with the shot, you can kind of forecast what's coming. Cause like I seen the same thing, and I'm like, Sean, you can't leave him those opportunities. It's equivalent to like basketball when you get somebody a wide open three and they miss it. You be like, all right, he missed that three. I can't give him any more of those because he usually knocked them down. That's how it was like watching that. Like it's just you can't give Crawford those types of opportunities. And it was like that sidestep that Crawford was trying to get. He was trying to get it for like 3-4 rounds straight.
Absolutely.
And Sean was giving him enough angles to where he couldn't get that full step to the side that he wanted. And when he finally got that full step to the side, that straight shot, Sean can't avoid it. It don't matter if he had his guard up or not. Like, Crawford was in a perfect hit and don't get hit position.
Oh,
and
man.
that's why he got the knockdowns.
The angle looks so frustrating. I was looking at like, how do you even hit this guy when he's standing?
Bro, I'm just like, yo, it was almost like a 45 shot. Like it wasn't even your typical punch, man. Like man, Crawford a problem, man. Crawford is a problem, man, for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this, man. This ain't got nothing to do with the fights, but I seen Sean Porter's debut fight, 2008. 2008, wow. Sean Porter debuted right here in Maryland. It's a little town in Salisbury. Sean Porter debuted way before he became champion, way before he got on TV. So yeah, I was there when Sean Porter was first fighting.
That's dope.
Man,
that's
what's up. That's what's up, bro.
Yep.
Man.
Hold on. Let me ask you this question because we was talking about the Danny. We started talking about these, being in the kitchen with Tony Harrison. What's your thoughts on Tony Harrison and Danny Garcia, man?
Man.
I think Harrison's a good fight for Danny, man.
That's a hard fight, yo. If I'm Danny, if I'm advising Danny, I'm telling him to stay away from that. Away from that because Tony looked real good in his last fight. Like, I mean, vintage Tony. I don't know if Danny beats vintage Tony. Like Tony, because the only time Tony, like, you gotta get Tony up out of there to beat Tony. Right. Like Tony, outside of the fights he got knocked out in, he's never been outboxed.
No, and that's so crazy. I think, not to cut you off, but I think that's why I think that fight is so intriguing because
it is.
Tony has a reputation of being up. Every loss that he had, he was up. Willie Nelson, shout out to Cleveland, Ohio, that's my boy.
Yes, sir.
Got the stoppage. He was down. Jared Hurd, he was down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And even though with the Charlo he was up, but it was still he was up in that one. Yeah, he was up.
He was up.
He was definitely up in that one. So but it's the chin. And I can see him being up on with Danny, and here come that left hook. Here come the left hook out of nowhere when he's up. And look, we done seen this before. This is why I like this fight. Amir Khan was beating Danny. Danny's used to being down. And can get out of there with that left hook. You know what I mean? But that's an interesting fight.
Do you take what's a better matchup for Danny, Tony or Hurd?
I was gonna bring that up too, man. I'll say Tony, man, because Hurd just if Danny fights Hurd, Danny's gonna catch him all night, man. Hurd just got too many defense issues.
He does, but I think here's my thing with that though. What makes it interesting. He takes a lot of shots, but he give them too. See, Danny don't like work rate as much. I could see her really getting shots off on Danny as much too. But like I said, we did see Danny using footwork. So that would be, he can bring that to the 154 division where he's giving them different angles and not engage with these guys because, most of them going to be stronger than Danny.
Yeah, because he's not a natural 154. You can look at him and tell he's still in a 147 body. Like he wasn't even a big 147 to keep it all the way 100. He wasn't even a big 147. So I think he really just moved up to 54 because it was really nothing else for him to do at 47. Like it's like any viable options. Like he wasn't going to get another Spence shot. You know what I mean? He's not fighting Boots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and all the rest of the fights is kind of like, so it was best for him to move up.
he won a big fight, right? If he goes to straight, if they give him another one like a tune-up, I would say, what's his name? Gallimore. He's still
Damn, me and you be thinking alike, bro.
Yeah, Gallimore is right there. That's perfect. I think Gallimore would be a perfect good fight. We familiar with him,
bro. So check it. So let's just say this. So he just had a fight. He gets, let's say he gets Garcia in like maybe November.
Mm-hmm.
November. Give him Gallimore in like March, which lines him, so that'll line him right up with Charlo summer 2020.
Hold on. Do you think that would be nice? But do you think Charlo gonna stay? I mean, I'm not big.
Where he gonna go though?
I'm not big on defending undisputed that much, man. I'm not really big. I respect them for taking the Kazoo, but I'm not big on defending the undisputed.
Hold on, what's your reason for it? Because I want to see if it's the same as mine.
Well, if y'all watch Marvel, I'm real big on Marvel too.
Yeah.
You remember when Thanos went and collected all the stones, right?
Yeah.
He got all the stones, right? He got all the stones, but it wasn't realistic for him to collect all the stones and the superheroes come out of nowhere and just get them back. He worked hard. He worked hard to get the stone. He had to sacrifice a loved one. He had to go, it was different things that he had to go through to get what he got. And how is it that you can come and just take everything in just one sequence after I done did all this? That's the mindset. That's the mindset because if it comes down, if you fighting somebody that has earned the gauntlet before you in a different weight class, that's different. He knows what it's up. He knows what it's about to collect all 4 of the stones.
Damn, we think alike, bro. Because that's the same reason why I don't like that shit, man. I feel like, bro. I feel like if I'm the undisputed champion of the world, I feel like you gotta get my belts in like brackets. Like you gotta beat me twice to win all my belts, man. Like I'm not giving you all these all in one shot. Like it's literally so Charlo went through the gauntlet to get the belts. And Tim Zoo can walk in and get all of them joints. And Charlo took years for him to get all of those belts. So that concept, Ohio, you the only other dude that I heard of that actually said that, that's the reason why. Because I mentioned that to somebody else and they was like I was crazy. And I'm like, how? I'm like, how? And then on top of that, when you the undisputed champ, like number one, you're pretty much a hitman in a sense for the sanctioning bodies.
Yep.
They pretty much like, all right, you fighting nothing but mandatories from here on out. You fighting nothing but mandatories. So Devin Haney had to pay basically $500K in sanctioning fees.
It's ridiculous.
$500K in sanctioning fees. You know what I'm saying? Just to hold the belts.
Mm-hmm.
So he gotta go fight, Kambosos again, but he gonna have to pay that right back out. He gonna have to pay that right back out.
And listen, and I stand consistent on my stance no matter what fighter is, because people, we have our favorite fighters, and then when the opportunity comes, then we try to switch the narrative. Absolutely not. I think Enos is great at 147, but there's no way he's gonna get a Crawford fight after the Earl, or Earl fights him right after. I feel like if he gets a Thurman, and then those belts become vacant.
He'll get a vacant.
Absolutely, because I think he's still gonna have to take some big fights. And I respect Charlo for taking on Tim. But let's put race into it. Let's put race into it, guys. Think about it. If Tim was undisputed, Charlo would have to earn it. They would have vacated one of the belts that he was trying to fight and go on. You earn your name. That's what they always do to us. Look what Wilder did with Tyson Fury. He gave him an opportunity when he was 2 years off, depression, and as soon as Tyson Fury got in position after he won the second fight, look what Wilder had to do to get the third. We got to go to court. We got to go to court.
Ohio, check this shit out, yo. Man. Now, I was in the minority on this. I think actually Legend probably already know this. I'm probably one of the only few people that was like, after the first fight, I'm like, Wilder should have walked. He should have went right into the AJ fight.
Mm-hmm.
He should have went right into the AJ fight because I'm like, the narrative was there for him to walk. And nobody says if you don't take an immediate rematch like you're ducking. No, you can not take an immediate rematch to handle bigger and better business. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, when he fought Tyson Fury the first time, a lot of people had Tyson Fury winning the fight on the cards. But I'm like, you can make the argument that man wasn't supposed to get up like in the 12th round. So you could have ran with that narrative and went right into a $100 million fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's really, really crazy.
That's why I said that's why I said when it comes to us as our black fighters, we always just fight. We give them opportunities. They don't do it for us. I've been in this game too long. I see it. When Canelo's mandatory to fight Charlo, no, you earn it. You fight Demetrius, you fight them. Okay, I'm cool with that. Triple G, mandatory Charlo. Nope, he fights somebody, but you can do that. Okay, Lomachenko, you mandatory for Loma. I mean, you mandatory for Devin. Nope, he got to earn it. Devin got the belt and he's being dubbed. We have to start waking up and say, you know what? We play that same game too. No, Tim, you can have this WBO. You can have this whatever belt.
I'm not
who I want to fight.
Yeah, I'm not giving it. Yeah, like, and it seemed like it's almost like PBC was. It almost seemed like Al was like, "Yo, do this favor for me, man." Like that's what it said.
Because Tim is a PBC fighter now, so that's that's all in house, I think. But again, I respect Charlo for doing it, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I think Charlo is actually defending it, because he was talking about going to 160. I think he's waiting on the winner of Crawford and Earl, because if Crawford wins, we got undisputed against undisputed at 154.
Yeah,
can you
and there's nothing, bro. Bro, I'm sorry, I don't care where that fight is. I'm pulling up.
Yeah,
I'm pulling up. I'm pulling up, bro. Like, I'm pulling up like that. Yeah, you can tell they genuine. Yeah, he put Legend go pull up too. Yo, but the thing is, bro, like, you could tell they genuinely don't like each other.
Mm-hmm.
They genuinely don't rock with each other. Like, so that's what makes it, that much more intriguing. And another thing with Charlo, there's nothing cooking at 160. There's absolutely. That's one of the deadest divisions in the sport. It's one of the deadest divisions in the sport. First of all, your brother's in there. You know what I mean? So that's one situation you can't see. Triple G's not going to fight you. So that's another situation you can't see. Outside of that, what's actually at 160 that, and I haven't heard of Charlo actually having major trouble making 154.
No, I think
me personally.
Yeah, but see that what I think was, and I'm with you on that. But I thought before the Canelo and Bivol, the loss of Bivol, it was open for. I thought Jamel would have been able to go up to 160 and face Triple G. I think that would have been sexy for Triple G, because Triple G has a history of fighting smaller guys coming up. That's
correct.
That's appealing to him. You can force him into that, and Jamal move up to 168. That's where his fights is at, because he's not really. I mean, come on, let's look at what you just said with the 160. But I felt like Jamel deserved a big money fight. Tim is not.
Yeah, Tim is not. Money fight. Only thing that only person that really benefits off that from the money aspect is really Al.
Tim. Oh, yeah, Al.
Al, yeah, because that he's gonna be able to sell the rights to that fight to the Australian market, which is a whole nother bag. That's a whole nother bag of money that you're talking about. That's why he wanted that particular fight, because it's too. But see, that's why Crawford and Spence is getting hard to make. Like, both of those guys deserve 20+ million for the fight. Like, they both deserve that.
You think so?
But so here's the thing though. They're gonna want 20+. That fight, unfortunately, that fight's not gonna do $1 million. That thing not gonna do $1 million buys. It's not gonna do $1 million buys. So the reason why this fight is not being made is because I'm like, the money that's gonna take to make that fight. Al ain't getting into no situation where he can't recoup.
No more.
He's not putting himself in that position. You got to think about it. He just paid Canelo $40 million. Yep. And he couldn't do it the way he does his PBC fighters, where they'll give him a certain amount up front. He cut him a little bit here, a little bit there, a little something down the line, stretch it out. You know what I'm saying? He had to cut that 40 to Canelo off the rip and gave Caleb Plant 10. He was already in the whole 50. He was in the whole 50. So it's
he got good investors. I'm gonna put it like that.
He got good investors, but the thing is, I'm like, you gotta talk them investors to come right back in.
Oh yeah, facts. That's what.
And there's no.
They gotta see some They gotta see some
Yeah,
profit.
they gotta see some profit. So you can't. So the thing about Spence and Crawford, I'm like, there is no UK market to sell it to. There is no Australian market to sell it to. Like, this is strictly within the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that fight is gonna do. I would say it's gonna do like. I think a good number for them is going to be between 7 and 850.
Yep, that's what I said.
7 and 850. 7 and 850.
Yeah,
and that's good. And that's going to be another 7 to 850 that's watching it illegally. But that's the reason why the fight ain't getting made.
I mean, that's what I was wondering, man. Because Spence was telling Jim Gray that he think it was going to happen and whatnot, and I'm like, it's what, a couple of weeks later, and we still ain't got no announcements.
I talked to Bernie. Bernie wrote a book, man. I'll have to text this to y'all, but he wrote a book, a paragraph, like almost 3 pages long. I've never seen a text message this long. I couldn't even read it all, to the point I just said, man, I had to call him. But I did, man. I've never seen that. I'm gonna show y'all, man. I'm gonna definitely take it.
Yo,
I've never seen something this long that I had.
You like me, bro. I see a message, yo. If it takes up my whole screen, I'm calling. I'm like, yo, you got to translate that in the voice.
No Bernie has so much to say, and I'm gonna tell y'all from what he said, and it makes sense though, because I've heard certain interviews, and I always connect the dots. Bernie and Crawford, the Crawford's team, man, they went into this negotiation with bad faith, with the intentions of Al trying to use them or get over on them, which is weird, because I put this post up that he responded to, and I don't know if y'all seen it. You probably did.
I seen it.
Yeah, I was talking about the reputation that Al Heyman has had making fights with Canelo 3 times, Manny Pacquiao, and I was talking about they had reputation making fights with these legends, even Tyson Fury, who was a free agent. They always said something positive about Al Heyman after doing business with him. DAZN is the reason why. Al Heyman is the reason why DAZN went to pay-per-view. Right after Canelo left, he said he had a great time. That's when the negotiations started with the DAZN. Like, whoa, man. Whoa. You see what I'm saying? He showed them some numbers that was impressive that they had to match, because he would have went back to Al Heyman, period.
Facts.
So they pick and choose. We as humans, sometimes we pick and choose certain narratives that scars us, and we stay stuck on that one thing, and when we don't look at the whole picture. It's, we focus on the bad things. And let me tell you what Bernie told me. It was funny. Bernie said that, oh man, look how they doing Gary Russell. And I'm thinking to myself, Gary Russell? He's like, yeah, Gary wasn't getting the fights. And I said, so, okay, let's just say Gary Russell. Okay, I'm not even gonna go into that. But so you using Gary Russell is the reason why Crawford ain't really signing with Al and working with him. Okay, cool. That's what you're focused on, but you ain't looking at all these other fights Al and made. You ain't looking at the reputation. You focusing on Gary Russell or what Broner didn't said about this and this. Y'all going into this negotiation with lack of faith. So they're trying to give me this or it won't happen. And this is what I told Bernie. And I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna let you stop it up. This is what I told Bernie. I said, please, whatever y'all do in the negotiation, I said, I will never tell a fighter what he's worth. That's not my job. I don't think any boxing fan or analyst deserve to tell a fighter what he deserves. That's not our place. If he feel like he's worth what he worked hard, he worked his butt off to do it, go ahead, man. That's not my place. But I said, what I want you to understand, Bernie, I said, don't let Crawford be in the same situation Dimitri Andreades is. Having a WBO belt, missed some fights that he could have made. Yes, he's been ducked, but he also avoided fights that came back to hunt him. He chose money over legacy. Don't be that guy, and don't let this negotiation get to the point where it's monopoly, baby. You have a fallout with Al. Who you fighting at 154? Al got that division. Al got 147. Taylor, Victor Ortiz, those are the only fights you can really get.
But if you go to 147, 154, talking about if you can't get the fights, you ain't gonna have that. You're gonna be bagging like Demetrius. I said, don't do that. Don't be in that situation when it comes to that. But if I understand you is worth what you think you're worth, but let's be realistic here and try to get that fight and negotiate with Al. Don't be this guy that's listening or focusing on something that was negative going into negotiations with bad faith. That just makes no sense to me. And Bernie understood that.
Yeah, that's great insight. Nah, definitely appreciate that. Like that's and you know the thing that's crazy, like and why that was perfect advice from you, Ohio, is you take the Gary Russell situation, and it's funny you can ask YSM this next time you talk to him, right? I told him, I said, the reason why Gary Russell was getting one fight a year or one fight every year and a half, and it's only the mandatory, he's not getting the fight he said he wanted. I said, I can't get in a specific situation happen between Gary and Al. Ever since that happened, he got put on the back burner. So if I know that, right? I know that. They should know that. That's an isolated thing. Mm-hmm. So I told YSM, I said, so I told him about the Gary situation. So he called me. He went to Gary's fight. He went to Gary's fight when he lost his title. He ended up having a conversation with a certain somebody. Ask him who he talked to when he went to the Gary Russell fight and the conversation he had with me about Gary Russell. And he'll flat tell you. So I'm like, if we know that, then Bud and them should know that. So you shouldn't be using that as your point of negotiations. You understand what I'm saying? Right. The Andre situation, that's a perfect example. Like PBC gave you an offer and you turned it down because you said you didn't want to sign a whole contract to fight one guy. Yep. And it goes, and this is why your advice was so perfect. See, with Earl, there's no negotiation. Al is going to tell him where to go, when to go, and how much money you going to make. That's how Al roll. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's really no negotiations with Spence. Like, he know what it is. He probably know the bottom line number and everything that he going to make right now. Crawford has to negotiate his entire career with Al because it's beyond Spence. If he wants to fight at 47, he got to see Al. If he wants to fight at 54, he got to see Al. He's actually in a worse, Ohio, check this out. He's actually in a worse negotiating position now than he was with Top Rank. And I'm going to explain why. At least when he was with Top Rank, right? When he was with Top Rank, he had somewhere to go to. Yeah. He don't have Top Rank to go to anymore. And on top of that, he sued Top Rank. He burned that bridge to the ground. Mm-hmm. He literally has nowhere else to go.
Right. Eddie Hearn said he could. Eddie Hearn said the same thing he said about Demetrius. He said, I can't do nothing with it. He let Demetrius go with Matchroom, and then Crawford name come up. He don't have no welterweights over there for him. He's a little too much expensive. This is what Eddie Hearn said. They know the business, man. They know what it is to take to get these fights. You know, so when you hear Eddie Hearn say that, it's not like they're blackballing him or nothing like that. It's so crazy that it's similar to Demetrius. High risk, low reward type of guy who re-signed. Crawford did the same thing. When you had a chance to go make fights, to go over there to Al, you re-signed. Why did you re-sign to DAZN, Demetrius? Right. And he even said out his own mouth, I'm getting paid to fight these selected type of guys. You know, he's getting paid great money. So you chose money over legacy. I'm cool with that. It's cool. That making like you can't get fights and everybody just avoiding you. Cut it out, man.
Hey, Ohio, I did a regular, I rarely do like regular videos. Like I did a regular video probably about 3 years ago. I'm like, if Crawford's not careful, I literally titled it, Crawford could be the new age Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley's whole career is based off of fantasy fights that didn't happen. Luckily for him, he got the Pacquiao fights. But he got the Pacquiao fights because Pacquiao ain't had no other options. Because he was chasing the Floyd fight.
Facts.
But if you look at Terrence Crawford's career, it falls right in line with Tim Bradley's. Yeah, Terrence Crawford's the better fighter, but I'm talking about career path. And if Crawford's not careful, his career may be looked at for guys that he didn't fight versus guys that he did fight. That's the chance you take when you actually choose money over the legacy. And it wasn't even no middle ground. And it wasn't like Andre wasn't going to get paid with PBC. He was going to get to the bag. So it wasn't like he wasn't going to get to the bag. He was going to get to the bag. It was just, I'm going to pick higher money for lesser opponents. And I'm like, bro, you one of them dudes at 154 pounds. You one of them dudes at 154 pounds. He's one of the only dudes I've seen in history that had a belt and meant absolutely nothing. His mandatories didn't even want to fight him, bro.
Yep.
His mandatories didn't want to fight him. I'm like, he's like, everywhere he go, the black cat was in the room. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Bad decisions, man, business moves, and we have to let fighters know that's upcoming. Us as journalists that's covering the sport, don't be like these guys, man. Don't get to the point where ego becomes more important than legacy. If I'm not saying Al is the best thing that's since sliced bread. He have his downfalls too, how he moved. But again, why would you not want to be in a situation where not only you get paid decent money, but he educates you on stocks and bonds or how to invest in house? He's giving you more than just money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Teaching you how to feed your family and for generations, man. And that's what they hated about Al coming into the game. He showed these fighters, I care. I'm not just here to give y'all money. I want y'all to invest. So, how do y'all not see that being on the other side? That's crazy.
I agree 100%, man. And it's like, so you mad at Al, right? This goes to show you how crazy people think, Legend. You take a guy like Al, and he does everything that Ohio just said. He's teaching you how to invest, how to basically prolong your money, make the money work for you, like it's life lessons within the business, right? But then you still got Don King that's like 94 years old, still not paying dues,
Right.
Like he's still not paying dues. I'm like, yo, he has 2 different lawsuits on him.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Now.
Yeah, I just read Daniel DeBella is saying he didn't get paid from Don King.
He didn't get paid.
Hold on, DeBella said that too. I know Dubois said it.
He's talking about Dubois. Yeah, he's talking about Dubois.
Okay, that's
yeah.
Okay, I said his name wrong.
Yeah, so he's suing him. Then Manuel Char is suing him. Manuel Char is suing him. He's suing him and the WBA. So like Don King, so y'all cool with Don King running around doing what he been doing for decades. Bro, my guy Bruce Gass, he had Tim Witherspoon on the channel. Like, bro, like Don King been raping dudes for forever, man. Like forever. But y'all will say, oh, well, he done made the biggest fights, this, that, and the third, when he done robbed every single pocket he done been in contact with. Right. But you got somebody like Al, he done kind of monopolized the game. And he's actually showing dudes like, yo, like take this money, use it this way, use it that way. And people don't even realize with Al doing that, he's actually improving the sport, because if guys are better off financially, they're not taking dumb fights. Right. They're not taking that fight, Ohio. They're not taking that fight, that 2 weeks notice fight. And they just get a call 2:00 in the morning. Hey, we got $15K for you. You fight this monster in 2 weeks. Man, the light's about to be off, man. I'm going to go ahead and take that fight. He's actually improving the sport. He's giving guys better chances to make better business decisions with their career because they managing their money better. It's a trickle-down effect.
Right.
But y'all mad at that, but y'all going to let Don King run around and just do what he do. And it's not one person that Don King treated correctly from a financial standpoint. Find one.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, getting these contracts, man. That's what I mean. Chris G, glad to see y'all.
That's my boxing son right there.
Yeah, well, Stokes, what's good, guys?
My guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Again, man, I want to thank both of y'all for coming on, man. You know, this is my first podcast to have special guests. Really appreciate y'all, man. We're almost 2 hours long. You know, the longest one I've done. Yeah.
Got Joseph Gwilt in the building too. Big shout out to Joseph Gwilt.
Yeah.
It's my guy right there.
Yeah.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Yeah. All right, man. Legend, man. We appreciate you, man. Like, it's crazy because I'm like, I jumped off on my podcast and then I seen your link and I'm like, all right, let me jump on my man joint too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
I was
the
thinking
thing,
you'd
man.
be on it for a while, man. I was like, he ain't gonna be on, but
I cut it.
I was shocked. Man. I was like, okay, he gonna jump on. Right.
I cut that joint about an hour 25 minutes in, and we'll go possibly 2-3 hours if it's cooking.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, I gotta jump on here with my mans real quick, man. Big shout out to the legend, man. Ohio Run Boxing, man. It was a pleasure talking to you, man.
Definitely not.
And the thing is, it's like you get into these talks like this, man. Like you literally got to cut the show. Because I will literally sit on this darn joint and just go. Like you gonna have to tell me to get out. Like you know what I'm saying? You gonna have to tell me to get out, man. But I'm gonna get up out this joint, man. Follow me.
I'm gonna definitely close out, man.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5 Jeff TV, man. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Legend, I'm gonna get with you. Ohio, man. You already know, bro.
Number love, man. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. All right.
Peace. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm going to close the show out, man. We're going strong 2 hours. So, man, I really appreciate you coming on, man. You first special guest. Hey, give me social media.
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me at Ohio Runs Boxing. Sorry about this going in and out, man, with this service, man. But, y'all can find me on IG and Facebook under Marcus Null and Ohio Run Boxing on Facebook, man. I'm easy to find. Holla.
Y'all know me. I'm on Instagram as the Legend3347. Y'all can find me on Facebook as Todd Finney. You just witnessed in Corner episode 4. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace. Let me get this last comment. Something.